When she was 9, Miriam lived in a refugee camp where she sustained herself on dreams of becoming a teacher. The Taliban ruled Afghanistan. Boys were restricted to religious education. Girls and women were forbidden to learn. Miriam secretly studied in a home-based school run by her father. He helped educate some 60 boys and 30 girls. It was dangerous work, enough to warrant death if he'd been found out. Her father recalls it as a very dark age. When the Taliban fell, Miriam was 14, but not too young to begin teaching women to read. Many of her students attended classes in her home, their babies in tow. 3 years later, World Vision built the first formal girls' school in this remote northwestern district of Afghanistan. The year was 2005, and 650 girls enrolled. Their teachers were Miriam and the women she'd taught to read. The true significance of these events is difficult to see with Western eyes. In parts of Afghanistan, like where Miriam lives, the rate of female illiteracy is typically 85%. Women don't need to read. Men can tell them everything they need to know. And women certainly don't work outside the home. But here they were, a handful of women educating 650 girls. Despite his progressive nature, Miriam rarely spoke in her father's presence. But when he left the room, I was treated to a young visionary brimming with ideas for women, not just for now, but well beyond their schooling. She envisioned women in every sort of job and dreamed of the day when girls could no longer be forced into early marriages, many as young as 12. It was a passionate Miriam, no longer stone-faced in the presence of a man. The one way to describe a moment I captured in her classroom. Her broad smile, hand on her hip, it was positively bold, and it only lasted a split second. World Vision's programs grew rapidly, driven by a hunger for literacy. We were supporting 17 public schools, 29 home-based classrooms teaching 1,200 girls, and several more adult literacy classes. That's when I saw hints of Miriam, a young woman quietly afraid. Her father's dark age was gaining purchase once more. The Name-e-Shabs, or night letters, were being posted in public places. They warned anyone aligned with infidels, foreigners, but they singled out professionals, engineers, doctors, and teachers. Renounce your work or leave town. The threat of death was unspoken, but clearly communicated by murders in villages across the country. In Miriam's district, a boys' school supported by World Vision was torched. The home of a female literacy teacher was burned to the ground. The last time I saw Miriam, she was pleading with World Vision to stay in her community. She feared that the insecurity would drive us away as it already had other aid agencies. A colleague told her that day will never come, and she meant it. World Vision and community members had developed a 25-year roadmap for long-term sustainable development. Then, 2 weeks later, in August 2006, a dozen armed men attacked our offices and team house in Miriam's town. 2 staff members were murdered. World Vision wasn't really the target. It was politics Afghan style. Health clinics and schools were attacked by groups set on destabilizing the district governor. And the people paid the price. World Vision pulled out. Families feared sending their children to classes, and many teachers fled. Schools, home-based classrooms, and literacy programs shut down. Thousands of children were impacted, and a wide range of support programs for farmers also closed. Today, the residents of Miriam's town are essentially hostages to the agenda of local radicals. Some schools have reopened, but none for girls, and the area is off-limits to aid agencies. Even NATO's reconstruction teams don't go there. We can easily conjure images of a clinic under fire, or a school burning to the ground. But how do you put images to lack of hope? In Miriam's community and across Afghanistan, hundreds of thousands of children fear death if they go to school. Their mothers cannot safely access health care. There's a rock-solid logic that we can't work side by side with Miriam and her father right now, because we'd be murdered. Still, the feeling creeps up at times that we abandon them. It breaks the heart not knowing how to help them. But we must never give up on them. We have to give them voices. Voices that will be heard everywhere, from our prayers to parliaments to international forums.